Today's video is a little bit about the history of why we roast chestnuts. And chestnuts are something which, as you can imagine, back in the day and for hundreds of years, they were something which people could gather and it would supplement their nutritional needs and it would stop people from becoming hungry. And these chestnuts that are packed with little goodies, the reason why we roast them is firstly because when you get a chestnut, the shell of it, trying to get into it, that can be quite tough to get into. So by roasting them, they split open a whole lot easier. And also by roasting them, it does take that. There's a little fluffy inner casing around the inside of the shell. So by roasting them, that does help to remove some of the little fluffy bits. But the main reason why we roast them is because there's a lot of starch in a chestnut, and that starch, if you was to eat it raw, that would taste really quite bitter. But the act of roasting it turns the starches into sugar, and that's what makes them nice and sweet. And also it makes them that little bit softer and a bit more tender, so that they're easier to eat and enjoy. So if you can imagine, if you had a raw chestnut, then it's going to be bitter and a bit on the fluffy side, and it's going to be tough to eat and it's not so nice. But once you've roasted that little thing, it's going to be so much sweeter and easier to eat. And also the tradition of roasting chestnuts, it's mentioned in songs about chestnuts roasting on a fire, and you can see images of it from old Christmas cards and Victorian imagery and from passages in old books, and you often see it in old movies that there's chestnut vendors. And this wasn't something which was just seen as a snack to eat. It was seen as something as you could eat when you were hungry. They were item that you could transport with you if you were going somewhere, because they would keep until they were cooked. And there's this lovely thing that makes me think of Christmas time, knowing that in the Victorian era, people used to buy them not just because they were good for you and because they were tasty, but because they used to keep your hands warm as well. And I've read about how ladies used to buy hot chestnuts in their little bags, and then they'd put them into their muff that used to hang around their necks that they used to put their hands into, often, made out of lovely velvet with all nice padding in that kept their hands warm. And they could keep the chestnuts in there, and that would warm them up. So there's something about roasting chestnuts that isn't just a historical thing, but it's something which invokes days gone by, that is filled from a time of when life was slower. And even though life back then could be so difficult, a little thing as simple as roasting a chestnut would bring a lot of joy to so many people. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.